It's Meet the Leaders time. Hi there, I'm David Smith, and it's good to have you along with us sharing one of the leaders' impressions of what's coming up as we face up to a new session in just about 6 weeks or thereabouts. Raghib Allie-Brennan, I beg your pardon, is our guest. He is a representative representing the 2nd District out of the Danbury area, among other towns. I don't want to leave out anybody here. We've got Bethel, Reading, Newtown, right?
Correct.
That covers the waterfront, I think.
Yeah.
and is proof that not only is grassroots working, but if at first you do not succeed, you try again.
Exactly.
It's good to see you, Raghib.
Yeah.
Welcome to the program, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
Set us up a little bit. How did you come to being in politics? As you may have noticed, he is a very young guy. You will be the youngest in the House, is that correct?
Yes, correct, yeah.
Wow,
but Will Haskell's got me beat by a few more years over in the Senate. Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Good.
Yeah, but no, I worked 3 years in Congress as a policy advisor. It was energy and environmental issues that really brought me into politics. After my senior year in college, I really focused on natural disasters and how do we kind of look at communities who are getting really hit by these storms and climate change, and how can we affect policy to help them. So I got involved. I interned for Congresswoman Esty. I worked in D.C. in a congressman from North Carolina's office, and the opportunity was open for a vacant seat in 2016, and I jumped at the opportunity, and I lost by 280 votes in a Republican year, Republican district, and we came back this year. We fought even harder. I started earlier. Knocked over 8,000 doors myself.
8,000 doors?
Yes, it's possible, yeah, and it's pretty disgusting when I think about it. But my knuckles are ready to fight in Hartford.
But, well, and if, saying you knocked on 8,000 doors, it gets frustrating when you knock on a whole bunch of them and they don't open, or they open and give you a wise answer or whatever it is. I've seen this movie.
Yep.
It is not all beer and Skittles when you're doing
not.
that sort of thing.
No, and I think it kind of prepares you for the job and the kind of personalities you'll deal with, but also, your constituency. They don't all, some of them didn't vote for me, and I'm still going to represent them. That's what the whole message was, that, I'm putting district first. I'm a Democrat, but it's about the district, and I think people are tired of the party politics and the bickering, and it's their fault. It's time for new people and new solutions, and I'm really excited to get to work.
Well, they want to get something done.
Yes.
The stalemates that we have frequently in Hartford, frequently in all the time in Washington, just has to stop. We've got to get something done so that we all can move forward, one would think. When you got into this, what was your focus? You'd been in foreign policy in Washington, not so much foreign policy in Hartford these days, but what was your major concern, or are your major concerns as you take a look at it?
So I think, I do have an energy background, and I wanted to really look at what we can do on the Energy Committee in the State House and how we can invest more in renewable energy. But obviously the budget crisis is the biggest thing that we have to deal with. And I do feel, as a young person trying to live where I grew up, that taxes are kind of squeezing everybody, Democrats and Republicans. It's not one party issue. And I just think, the representation wasn't really there. And like I said, we do have bigger numbers on the Democratic side up in the General Assembly now and in the governor's mansion, but it's not one party's problem to solve. And Representative Stephen Harding, who's in the other part of Bethel, he's a Republican, and we have a good friendship, and I plan to lean on him. He's going to know more than I do. He's been up there for a while. And
well, have you some similar thoughts on things?
We do, and actually, we fought on to pass fracking waste ban in Bethel together, so that was an initiative that we found similar ground on and wanted to work together. But there are some issues. The first bill that I'm going to introduce is repeal on the business entity tax. Not something that you really hear a
Small
Democrat
businesses
doing.
hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
They hear that all the time.
And so small businesses was something I emphasized because I do work in my day job on writing grants for small businesses in the state to access capital and thrive. And we do see some red tape in Connecticut that's really hampering them succeeding. So. Well,
and the downside of that is, how do we make up for that money?
Exactly, and I think we've got some solutions. I think we should be legalize off-track betting. The Supreme Court said it's okay. We should be making money off of that with the tribes. I do think that we're going to really take a look at legalizing marijuana. That's some revenue stream we should look at, and we should be cutting some things. I think with the prisons and corrections. We spend $1.2 billion a year annually on that. And the prison rate's going down, the crime rate's going down. So that's somewhere we can look at to see where we can get some more money.
Now, if pot is legalized, marijuana gets legalized, would you go along with having those who are imprisoned for possession or maybe sale being released.
I would definitely be looking into that. I mean, according to the offenses, you know, I mean, we know that people do it in the state, you know, and other states are legalizing it. Connecticut needs money, but it's also not just a money thing. You know, Massachusetts is passing it, New York's looking at it. A lot of states are passing this, and I just think it's something that we should be a leader on, and I think we should address, you know, because I do think there's concerns regarding police and how they can police people with it, driving under the influence.
There doesn't seem to be a definitive word on that, on the ability to do that.
Yes, and that's something I really want to make sure that, you know, our police feel you know, comfortable with, should we pass it. So, and I work with the an opioid crisis advocacy group in the local area in Danbury, and you know, making sure that, you know, it's not affecting it in a negative way, and I don't think it does. I think we do see that people use hard stuff and they went off of that onto marijuana, and it helps them kind of get back into recovery. So.
Are we seeing more improvement in the opioid situation, or we're not at that point?
We're not at that point yet, and the thing is, you know, we really do need funding. So I think it's looking for unique ways about how we can really shift this. But criminal justice reform is going to be something interesting and exciting to look at this coming session, and how we can really make sure that, you know, we have people up there who understand that addiction is a disease, and it's, you know, for a lot of people, it's not a choice. So.
Well, you're one of those who has been involved in the legislative milieu, if you will, over the years. So this is not going to come as a shock to you when you go up to Hartford in a few weeks. But it's going to be different being the one on the line as opposed to the one who is supporting.
I can usually hide behind my boss. So this time I have to take the hits.
I don't think you're going to do much hiding. It sounds to me like you're right up front. So glad you could stop by the program.
Thank you for having me.
We look forward to catching up with you in Hartford when you get there.
Yes, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Representative Raghib Allie-Brennan, newly elected, having almost made it the last time, did it this time, and looking forward to being in Hartford. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that is the way it's going for this edition of Meet the Leaders, and I'm David Smith.